What up, peeps? Welcome back, and let's talk about the Heisman race, as this year has been pretty interesting. And I mean, do we have a clear-cut winner going into these conference championship games? I'm not sure. Things seem to be pretty tight right now. I mean, think about last year, Devonta Smith. In the championship game alone, 12 catches, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns. Devonta was a clear-cut winner, without a doubt. Let's rewind to 2019, Joe Burrow. Burrow threw for over 5,600 yards, 60 touchdowns. There was no denying him. That's just insane. And is it me, or I just kind of feel that usually before, or even to this point, going into the conference championship games, we kind of have an idea or a feel for who's going to win the trophy. I feel that this year's a little different. It's going to go down to the wire, and going into these conference championship games, it's going to be very crucial. And whichever candidate has a spectacular or say dominating performance this coming weekend, I'm recording this before the conference championships, may be the clear winner. On the flip side of that, a poor performance could absolutely bomb any chance of winning the Heisman Trophy. So let's go ahead and dig into it. Let's take a look at the favorites, scanning Yahoo, ESPN, and other sports outlets, basically getting an idea of who they like or what names are popping up, what names are trending for the Heisman Trophy. And in no particular order, let's start with Kenny Pickett at Pitt. Pickett has been very efficient, just a little over 4,000 yards passing, 40 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, with a QB rating of 166.7. Pitt lost a close game early in the season versus Western Michigan, but Pickett went off for 382 yards passing and 6 touchdowns that game. Let's just say the defense did not do them many favors, but Pickett had a great game. Pitt also beat Clemson, who was having a down year this year, but coming up, I think their biggest challenge is going to be against Wake Forest. We'll just have to sit back and see. Bryce Young has been performing very well, just under 4,000 yards passing, 40 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. QB rating 177.0. Alabama overall has been pretty much on fire the whole season. They did lose to A&M on the road and struggled in the Auburn game, but Jamison Williams, their top receiver, did get sidelined early for targeting, so that definitely affected their offensive output. And credit to Auburn's defense, who sacked Young 7 times, so you got to give them credit. But after that, Young led Alabama into overtime and the victory over Auburn. And that shows a lot, especially in a game that Alabama really had no business winning. They were not playing very well, but they gutted it out and got that W, and you can never count Alabama out anyway. So that definitely shows, and I think helps Bryce. Now, Bryce Young and Alabama will be headed to play Georgia next, who is number 1. Could he have a big victory there, a good performance? Probably put him on top. Now, with Michigan's huge win over Ohio State, 2 more names have been mentioned. And these names are probably a long shot, and I'm sure the odds are definitely against them. But let's go ahead and start with Aidan Hutchinson. First of all, in the game, Hutchinson had 3 sacks alone versus Ohio State. He either set or tied a single season record for sacks at Michigan, and so far he has 54 solo tackles, 22 assists, and a total of 12 sacks. And as I stated earlier, a big victory over their rivals, Ohio State, who they haven't even beat in a decade, and Ohio State was ranked number 2 at the time. Then you have Hassan Haskins. Haskins had 169 yards, 5 touchdowns against Ohio State, and Haskins is a strong runner, and every time it seems like when I watch Haskins run, he always gets yards after the carry. He doesn't go down on that first contact. You really gotta wrap up or really gang tackle him, because he just doesn't go down. He has just over 1,200 yards rushing, 18 touchdowns, averaging 5 yards a carry. And Michigan is a team, the body of work has been very solid, and that's with only 1 loss to Michigan State. That takes us to Kenneth Walker III at Michigan State, just over 16 yards rushing, 18 touchdowns, averaging 6.2 yards per carry, a huge victory over Michigan where he ran for 5 touchdowns. He did get banged up in the Ohio State game, so his performance struggled, but that following week he did bounce back against Penn State with a pretty strong performance, about 138 yards rushing and a touchdown. CJ Stroud at Ohio State, 3,862 yards passing, 38 touchdowns, 5 interceptions with a QB rating of 182.2. Stroud has been very impressive as a freshman. You could tell he has really settled down and is throwing the ball really well, and he's got the targets around him to really enhance his profile. The Buckeyes have both won and lost big games this year. Losses against Oregon and Michigan, and good wins against ranked teams like Michigan State, Purdue, and Penn State at the time. I think Stroud is definitely going to be hurt by the lack of playing in the championship game. I feel like he'll probably need one more game to really prove a point, but you never know. He could slide in to that last slot for the Heisman. I mean, in that Michigan loss, Stroud still threw for almost 400 yards and 2 touchdowns, still pulling out solid performances in the losses. So it'll be interesting to see what the committee thinks. Now, Desmond Ridder at Cincinnati, does he have a shot? 3,000 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, QB rating of 162.2. He also ran for 342 yards with 6 rushing touchdowns. Cincinnati has a big win over Notre Dame, and it was at Notre Dame at the time. Could Ridder sneak in with a big performance against Houston this weekend? It could be possible, although I think he may be a little lower in on the list. I guess we'll see. And let's wrap this up with Matt Corral out of Ole Miss. 3,329 yards passing, 20 touchdowns with only 4 interceptions, QB rating of 157.6, and the X factor is that Matt has also ran for 600 yards with 11 touchdowns this year. He's very dynamic and could definitely be in the mix. Ole Miss only has 2 losses versus Alabama and Auburn. Matt played decent in both games. He was definitely better in the Alabama game. The Auburn game, he struggled a little bit more, but overall is having a very good year. And that's it, peeps. Let me know what you think. Who's going to win the Heisman this year? To me, it is a complete toss-up. Definitely have some talented individuals. It just seems like they're all playing maybe at the same level. No one's really set themselves apart like you would think they would at this point in the season. Also, if there's any names that should be on this list, let us know in the comments. Also, please be sure to like, share, follow our page. We will be creating more sports gaming, news, and entertainment videos. We appreciate the support, and we will be back again. All right, peeps, you know what it is. Until next time, Gia.